Hello, Morehouse. It's Mrs. Stanley here again. I cannot tell you how much I miss being in class with all of you every day. I really wish I was teaching math in person, but hopefully these videos are helpful and useful to you. All right, today we are going to be working on Zern Module 5, Lesson 24. And our objective is I can express whole numbers as fractions and recognize equivalents with different units. Your job is going to be to do the fluency part, the number gym and the sprint, as well as Tower of Power on your own. We're going to do our guided practice learning lab, though, together. So let's log in here. All right, 0 to 1. Let's get started. All right, make one whole using halves. So I think I'm going to drag it. There are two halves in one whole. Let me turn the volume up here. There we go. Blank copies of 1/2 equals 1. There are two copies of 1/2 equals 1. You can see 1/2 and 1/2. There are two copies of that. That equals 1, or is equivalent to 1. Which fraction is equal to 1? 2 halves is equal to 1. Make one whole using thirds. Now we're going to repeat the same process just with thirds. So we're going to just drag our thirds here. As you can see, it takes 3 copies of 1/3 to make one whole. 3 copies of 1/3 equal 1. 1 is equivalent to 2 halves, and it's also equivalent to 3 thirds. We've been working on this a lot over the last couple of weeks. All right, make one whole using fourths. Again, we're just going to continue this process. If you want to try this on your own, this will be under, I believe, Math Chat on your Zern lesson. It isn't required, but you're more than welcome to practice this on your own. I think especially if you're having trouble with the problem set, it would be really helpful to you. Now, how many copies of 1/4 equal 1? 1, 2, 3, 4 copies of 1/4 equal 1. Now, we're just looking at these wholes in different ways. 1 is equivalent to 2 halves, and that's equivalent to 3 thirds, and it's also equivalent to 4 fourths. Is this equation true? 2 halves equals 4 fourths? Yes, it is true.
Is 2 halves equal to 4 fourths?
Fourths are just halves cut into 2 equal parts. 1/2 is equal to 2 fourths. So 2 halves equals 2 more fourths, or 4 fourths. Yes, 2 halves equals 4 fourths.
I agree. 2 halves and 4 fourths both equal 1 whole. Also, 3 thirds make the same whole. 1 equals 2 halves equals 3 thirds equals 4 fourths. That's right. There are lots of ways to represent 1 whole. Can you think of other ways to show 1 whole?
All right, make 2 wholes using the fractions. So we can drag and drop these however we want to make, as long as it makes 2 wholes. So as you can see, 1/2, oh, maybe it doesn't want to let me do that. We can make it using fourths. We can make it using halves. There are lots of ways to make 1 whole.
Let's look at this one together. Kayla and Ethan, how did you make a whole?
I used 3 thirds to make 1 whole.
I used 4 fourths to make 1 whole. Nice work. There are lots of ways to represent 1 whole. Let's look at this as a number bond. 1 whole is the same as 3 thirds. 1 whole is also the same as 4 fourths. Now let's see how this looks on a number line.
First, partition the number line to show halves. So we know that with halves, we're splitting the whole into two pieces. Label the number line using halves. At 0, we have 0 halves. In the middle, we have 1 half. And at 1 whole, we have 2 halves. Now let's use thirds. Show how many thirds equal 1 whole on the number bond. 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. You need 3 copies of 1/3 to equal 1 whole. Now partition the number line into thirds. We want 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3. Label the number line using thirds. At 0, we have 0 thirds. Then we have 1/3 at that first tick mark, 2/3, and then finally at the number 1 whole, we have 3/3 because 3/3 equals 1. Add parts to show how many fourths equal 1 whole. We need 4 parts to equal 1 whole. Use fourths to label the number bond. We've got 1/4, oops, and another 4th, another 4th, and one more 4th. Now partition the number line into fourths. We need 4 pieces. Label the number line using fourths. At 0, we have 0, 0 fourths. At the first tick mark, we have 1/4. Then comes 2 fourths. Next is 3 fourths. Finally, at 1 whole, we have 4 fourths because 4 fourths is equal to 1. What do you notice about the fractions at 0 and 1?
Let's look at the fractions at 0 and 1. What patterns do you notice?
All of the fractions at 0 have a 0 on top. 0 is the same as 0 halves, 0 thirds, and 0 fourths. This makes sense because they all have 0 parts.
For all of the fractions at 1, the top number is the same as the bottom number. 1 whole is the same as 2 halves, 3 thirds, and 4 fourths. This makes sense too, because the total number of parts equals the number of units.
Which fractions are equal to 0? So we're just going to look at our number lines to help us answer this. We've got 0 halves, 0 fourths, and 0 thirds are all equal to 0. Which fractions are equal to 1? I'm going to use my number line to help me. 1 is equal to 2 halves, 3 thirds, and 4 fourths. All right, way to go. We need to open up our problem set in our workbook to lesson 24. So open up your workbook to lesson 24. I'm going to open up my workbook page to lesson 24 as well. Hopefully my iPad will load here. Let's try again. All right, here we go. Let's see. And we are on the lesson 24 problem set. Here we go. Let's work on this together. If you need to pause it while you're getting your workbook out, please pause the video, press play when you're ready to continue. Complete the number bond as indicated by the fractional unit. Partition the number line into the given fractional unit and label the fractions. Rename 0 and 1 as fractions of the given unit. The first one is done for you. So all we're doing here is we're creating a number bond and we're also labeling our number line to match the fractional unit. So as you can see, for this first one, we've got halves. And so they divided one whole into 2 halves, and then they labeled the number line as such. I want you to complete the rest of this page on your own. Press pause while you're working and press play again to check your answers with mine. All right, Morehouse. Let's check our work. For thirds, we know that we need 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3. Each part is going to be 1/3. That's the unit fraction, 1/3. Let's split our number line into 3 pieces and label it 0/3, 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. All right, let's do the same with fourths. We've got fourths here. Means we need 4 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to label the unit fraction in each part. That's 1/4. We need 4 copies of 1/4. Now let's split our number line into 4 pieces and label it 0/4, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and finally 4/4. Let's do the same with the last example here. We need to split this into fifths. So we need how many pieces? That's right, 5 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each of those pieces is 1/5 in size. All right, let's break our number line into 5 pieces. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pieces. We've got 0/5, 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, and finally 5/5. All right, double check and make sure your answers match mine. If you need to pause this video for that purpose, that's fine. When you're ready, hit play, and we're going to move on to the next slide. Okay. All right, let's look at number 2. Circle all the fractions in problem 1 that are equal to 1. Write them in a number sentence below. Ooh, this is tricky. We need to kind of go back and forth. So, circle all the fractions in problem 1 that are equal to 1 and write them in the number sentence. So let's go back. All the fractions that are equal to 1. Let's see, I'm going to change my color here, I think. So 2 halves is equal to 1, 3/3, 4/4, and 5/5. See, they're all equal to 1. They're all in the same spot on the number line. All right. So let's see if it'll let me flip to the next page here. All right. So we know that 2 halves is equal to 3/3. It's equal to 4/4, and it's equal to 5/5. What pattern do you notice in the fractions that are equivalent to 1? I want you to write down your answer and pause this video to write down your answer and then press play to check it with mine. That's right. All right. The pattern that's here is that the top number and the bottom number are the same. So the top number and the bottom number are the same. Number 4. Taylor took his little brother to get pizza. Each boy ordered a small pizza. Taylor's pizza was cut into fourths, and his brother's was cut into thirds. After they had both eaten all of their pizza, Taylor's little brother said, "Hey, that was no fair. You got more than me. You got 4 pieces and I only got 3. Should Taylor's little brother be mad? What could you say to explain the situation to him? Use words, pictures, or a number line. So I want you to take some time, answer this on your own, press pause to answer it on your own, and press play to check your answer with mine. Okay, let's go over this together. So Taylor took his little brother to get pizza. Each boy ordered a small pizza. Taylor's was cut into fourths, and his brother's was cut into thirds. So let's draw their pizzas first. I'm going to use a picture as my model. So this is Taylor's pizza, and his was cut into fourths. His brother's pizza was cut into thirds. Should Taylor's brother be mad? They both ate all of their pizza, right? Let me see if I can change my color here. They both ate all of their pizza, so all of it got eaten. Should he be mad? No. He should not be mad because 4 fourths is equal to 3 thirds. Maybe you drew a number line to explain this, or you only explained it in words. That would be fine too. If I was using a number line, here's what my number line would look like. So this is Taylor's pizza, and this is his brother's pizza. One is split into fourths, one is split into thirds, but they still ate all of their pizza. So either way, it's the same because 4 fourths equals 3 thirds. I hope this video was helpful to you. If you have any questions or need extra help, reach out to me on Google Classroom or by giving me a call or messaging me on Class Dojo. Your job today is to finish the Lesson 24 Zern work online, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Thanks.